Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Mind Muscle Connection podcast. Today is a Q&A episode and I have a few questions that I'm going to go over. But first, before I dive into those, I just have a few ways you can help support the podcast. So first, if you're sick of just focusing on weight loss and instead want a body recomp, then my one-on-one online coaching program is for you. I help you lose body fat and build muscle with my body recomp training, nutrition, and lifestyle methods. We look at things like your lifestyle and biofeedback to individualize your training and nutrition program to you and your specific needs. There's also at least 1 to 2 bottlenecks outside of the training and nutrition program that are keeping you from seeing the results that you want to see. So we really dive into those and figure out what those are. If you're interested in that, the link is in the show notes, and you can also set up a free 30-minute call as well, and we can figure out if you would be a good fit for the program. Or you can reach out to me on Instagram if you have any more questions, which I'll go over Instagram in a minute. If you aren't interested in full coaching, I do one-on-one consultations where we troubleshoot any issues you have and or map out a game plan for the next couple months. If you aren't interested in that yet, but you do want to learn more about body recomp, I have my 75-minute masterclass on body recomp, what it is, how to do it, and you can find the link to that in the show notes. Next way you can help support the podcast, I have my Instagram, Jeff, HOEHN_, and that's where I'm most active on social media. And if you have any questions, you can reach out there. And then lastly, if you found this podcast to be helpful in any way, if you could leave a rating and review, and that will help more people find the podcast. So I appreciate everybody who listens, and let's dive into today's question. So the first question I have, let me pull out my phone real quick, is body recomp done on maintenance calories specifically? And my thought on that is it can be, but it comes down to your situation, okay? So I'm going to go over those. So this is where like a blanket statement of yes, body recomp is at maintenance or no, it's not, like either one is not correct, right? And so it really just comes down to where you're currently at and whatnot. So again, it depends on your current situation and goals, right? So just real quick, as a reminder, there are 2 types of body recomp that I talk about. We have short-term, which is simultaneous fat loss and muscle gain at the same time, okay? This is what you'll typically hear about when you hear body recomp of, you can lose body fat and build muscle at the same time. And again, there's specific situations where that's more likely. Obviously, somebody who's super advanced and they've been doing things perfectly for a long time are going to have a much lower chance of having a body recomp, right? And then we have long-term. So this is over time, losing body fat and building muscle through multiple phases where you prioritize one or the other, okay? So this is more long-term body recomp. Again, we're probably shifting your weight a little bit, but at the end of the day, we're less concerned about your weight and we're more concerned about what your composition is, right? Your body composition. We want less body fat and more muscle. That's what's going to give you that look that you're ultimately going for. You can stay in short-term body recomp as long as you want, but over time, your results slow down, okay? So it's like one of those things where, why don't I just lose body fat and build muscle at the same time? As I said, the more optimal your training is, the more optimal your nutrition is, the longer you've been doing that, the more muscle you have, the leaner you are, the tougher it is to do both at one time. So you have to move into this long-term phase, okay? And so in this post, I am going to be talking about more short-term body recomp versus long-term, okay? So this is in the short term, what you need to do. So we have a few different avatars here that I'm going to go over. So you have somebody who's overweight, higher body fat levels. So you want to lose body fat and you can add more muscle to your frame. So this particular person, they would be better with a small calorie deficit for a body recomp. Okay. So for them, we don't really want to keep them at their maintenance, right? Now they will build some muscle, but for them to really change their body, they probably need to drop some body fat as well too, for it to really be noticeable. So again, in this situation, we would put them in a small calorie deficit. This person also probably has always tried a weight loss diet. They've probably yo-yo dieted in the past as well too. Weight's gone up, gone down, never been satisfied with their look. And again, maybe they've done their fitness stuff by completely restricting food, losing weight super quick, doing a ton of cardio, right? This type of person, where they're at, they have a really good potential to lose body fat and build muscle at the same time, right? Because they're weight higher, so they do need to drop weight and body fat. But they also don't have a lot of muscle. So their body's very sensitive to that. For them, they have a lot of wiggle room here. So we would put them in a small calorie deficit and maybe even slightly, we still wouldn't want a large calorie deficit because we do want to focus on the body composition aspect of it, but their surplus may be slightly larger than somebody else. Okay. So that's the first avatar. So in that situation, we're going to be at a small deficit for them. Then you have avatar 2. Doesn't have a lot of weight / body fat to lose. Think more of the skinny fat avatar. Okay. This person would probably be better going off closer to maintenance calories to start for a body recomp, right? It's like you don't have a lot of weight to lose, so we don't necessarily want to put you in a calorie deficit because you don't really need to lose body fat. You just really more so need to add muscle to your frame. And probably getting you out of a deficit is going to be better for your body composition. So this person, we'd want to put closer to their maintenance calories, right? So again, you can see where two different people, it's like, hey, we'll probably put you at a calorie deficit, you at maintenance, right? Again, you're starting to figure out here that it really depends on where you're coming from. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say on this person. I don't think so. Again, these are people that like, yeah, maybe you've dropped weight, but it's like now you're at that point where you're just like, I don't know what to do here. I lost a lot of weight. I'm not really happy with my look. I feel like I need to lose more body fat, but I really don't have much more weight to lose. This is where, again, you would be better off going to maintenance and really focusing on the muscle side of the equation. Then we have our third and final avatar. And this is someone that wants/needs to build muscle, but has been dieting or training for fat loss for a long time. And so maybe you're somebody you need to build muscle, but like you've always just dieted for fat loss. You've always been in that calorie restricted state. You would want to be closer to your maintenance calories for body recomp at this point. We've also been training suboptimally for building muscle as well too, right? Again, maybe you've been doing high amounts of cardio. You're relatively lean, but again, in this situation, so you've always been closer to that deficit and leaner sides. Like for you, again, we want to get you closer to maintenance calories for your body recomp, okay? So again, you can see here the takeaways. Your current body comp, training, and diet history play a big role in if you need to be at maintenance or a small calorie deficit for a body recomp. There is no one size fits all approach. So see where you're at, and that will determine if you need to be at maintenance or a small calorie deficit there. For, again, remember, a short-term body recomp. Over time, we'll probably have to go through those phases. So hopefully that was helpful there and gave you some ideas on what you need to do there with that. So my next question is, when mini cutting, how much would you try to lose? Then back to expected maintenance before a surplus question. So I think first, before I go into like the specifics here, I think the biggest kind of mistake here with mini cuts is not really understanding a mini cut and its uses, right? And so this is where, same thing with like body recomp. It's, what exactly are we talking about? I think people hear mini cut and they think like either like a short kind of cut, like it's just 2 weeks, or again, maybe they think it's like they're just trying to lose. I think it's first getting clear on what it is. So a mini cut is the main use for it, and why it like got brought into the industry it wasn't to like just lose body. Like a mini cut wasn't there to help somebody like, oh, hey, maybe they had 2 or 3 bad weeks and they just need to cut things down for 2 weeks, right? Because that can lend itself to this yo-yo dieting, okay? So we have to be careful with it. It's not there for that reason. How we would want to, like the reason mini cuts got brought up and like what their uses for in this field were in a building phase, right? So if you're in a long-term building phase, as you gain more weight, as you're in a building phase for a long period of time to build muscle, it's like you are going to add some body fat. Your hunger goes down. So it's going to be tougher to continue to progress that. And so a mini cut was there to just give you a little bit more runway in a building phase, right? So it's like you're in a long-term building phase where you're probably at the high end of your maintenance, a small calorie surplus, and you're seeing your weight trend up over time. So it's there to give you more room to push that, so that way you don't like gain a ton of body fat and then now all of a sudden you're way overweight. So that's what it was there for. And it was there to help mitigate, to bring your hunger back. And so I think that's where we need to understand what the use of a mini cut is for. It's not there to like be there for, oh, hey, I have an event coming up here in 2 weeks. I need to lose as much weight as possible, do that, or to make up for a long period of time, or to make up for a period of time where maybe you overate a little bit. So again, we need to make sure that we're using it for the right reasons. So I think 2 other things with mini cuts before we move on here with how much you want to lose and things like that. You can overdo it. Okay. So this isn't something that you want to do after 8 weeks of being in a surplus, right? This is again, a misapplication of the mini cut where it's like, oh, I gained a little bit of body fat. I maybe overate. I didn't pay attention. Like hey, I'm not in a fat loss phase, so I'm just going to wing it and do whatever. Oh, I gained a little bit more weight than I want. Hey, I'm going to do a mini cut real quick. We can overdo mini cuts and we don't want to use them for that. Okay. Because that's that misapplication there that I wanted to go over. I think mini cuts, again, are used during building phases, and ideally you should be in a building phase for at least, at the minimum, 16 to 20 weeks before implementing a mini cut. Okay. So let's talk about like specifics of the mini cut. So what I do is, when mini cutting, how much would you try to lose? I would say no more than 5 to 10% of your body weight. But this is also very dependent on how lean you are and how long your mini cut is. Okay. But I wouldn't go more than 5 to 10%. So in my mini cuts, I lose about 5-ish% of body weight in about 4 to 6 weeks, knowing that probably 2.5% of that is water weight, right? Like you'll see this where it's going to get masked by water weight losses, because if you're eating a lot of food, you're getting your weight to come up, and then you all of a sudden drop your calories super quick. you're going to see that water weight kind of fluctuation there. So that does add some noise to it. So that's why I say about 5 to 10% of your body weight there on that. And again, we don't want these to last more than 4 to 6 weeks as well too. So just to sum this up before I go into the second part of this question, we need to make sure that we're using mini cuts for the right reasons. We don't want them to be a solution for you overeating and not paying attention to what you're doing in your building phase, right? Like we can overdo them and we want to be careful with them. And then from there, we want to lose about 5 to 10% of our body weight, but realize that a good chunk of that is going to be water weight. And then we probably don't want to be in these for longer than 4 to 6 weeks at a time. Okay. So that's how I think of mini cuts. Now, as far as what do you do after that? Do you go to maintenance or do you go back to a surplus? And I don't think there is any right or wrong way in terms of going back to a surplus or maintenance following a mini cut. It's whatever you're comfortable with and what your overall goals are. So if maximizing muscle growth is your goal, I'd lean towards going back to a surplus. Okay. And if you lost a pretty good amount of body fat in the process and you're starting to get on the leaner side, okay, I would go back to a surplus. Maintenance will just keep you a little bit leaner for a bit longer, but is that best for long-term muscle growth? So you have to take that in consideration. So again, with this, there's no right or wrong answer. It's what do you want out of it and what are your goals? Some clients I will have go back to maintenance or just slowly reverse their calories back up to a surplus versus going straight back to it. Some clients will go back to it. And again, it just depends on your goals at that point. Again, the leaner you are, the more muscle you have, probably want to get back to that surplus sooner rather than later there on that. So hopefully that was helpful and you have a better understanding of what a mini cut is, when to use it, when to not use it, and if you need to go back to a surplus or not on that. All right. So last question of the day is, can a newbie start in a surplus to take advantage of newbie gains or maintenance to prevent fat gain? And 100% a newbie can start in a surplus. I think again, though, this goes back to where are you currently at, right? If you're a little overweight and you have a good amount of body fat, it's okay, maybe we go towards your maintenance, right? Because you have those extra energy reserves. But if you're somebody who you're new to training, maybe you don't have a ton of body fat, it's probably, and you want to maximize muscle growth, getting to a surplus right away is going to be better because I would imagine that more of the weight you're going to gain is going to go towards muscle than fat gain anyways. So you do have this area or this time where you can really push that and minimize fat gain. But obviously, as you gain more muscle, the longer you do that, more and more of that's going to become fat, right? The P ratio is going to be fat over time, which isn't a bad thing, but you just have to pay attention to that. So 100% a newbie can start in a surplus. But again, as with the first two questions, it's really going to come down to what are your goals, where are you currently at? Again, like I said, somebody that is pretty lean, they don't have a lot of body fat, they want to maximize muscle growth, 100% getting them in a surplus right away is what we want to do. You take somebody who's a bit overweight and they have a good amount of body fat on them, I don't think a surplus would be what they need at that moment, right? Probably closer to maintenance or a small calorie deficit for that body recomp that we talked about there. But again, ultimately what you want and where you're going on that. So hopefully that was helpful. That's it for this episode. If you guys have any questions on anything, let me know and I will chat with you next time.